sharp and clean by everybody.
Ready to stop.
He conquers the markets, he turns water into wine. His timing flows where chaos turns divine. Cut sharp enough to time the sign. Yeah, this man's no common trader. He commands the market's numbers. We call him Chef Bailey. The market bends beneath his flame. Fear and greed run through the wire. Candles climb and then expire. Our edges cut from V profile, sharp and clean by every buyer. Markets move, they twist and swing. Every tick can burn or bring. Ryan keeps calm, he trusts his thing. The charts tell him everything. But when T1 makes ding, 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 the futures spread their hidden wing. And he is ready for anything. But Vic's still looking like a restless king. Fear and greed run through the wire. Candles climb and then expire. Our edges cut from V profile, sharp and clean by every buyer. Fear and greed run through the wire. Candles climb and then expire. Our edges cut from V profile, sharp and clean by every buyer. Fear and greed run through the wire. Candles climb and then expire. Our edges cut from V profile.
You've watched YouTube gurus, bought signal groups. Still confused? Vici isn't noise, it's clarity. Live setups, real results. 5-star rated community. Trade with clarity. Trade with Vici.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome back. Sorry, I had a little technical issues earlier. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I apologize for the late start. I see we got quite a few people here already, so only saw a couple people join, even though there's quite a few here. What's up, Traders Pro? How we doing, Shane? Pleasure as usual. So we had another great day in the trade plans. And this is tough trading, guys. I mean, this is difficult stuff. This is probably as hard as it gets. We are surfing all-time highs. We are just in a massive balance area like we talked about in the plan today. As we continue to go sideways and accept value up here, they are doing one of two things. It's very simple. We are either accepting value for another push higher. As they push up, they go sideways, we push up again, or they're distributing for a pullback, which would be nice as well. Which one, we're really not sure. But what we do know for a fact is that right now we have not broken structure on any of our higher time frames. We are still pointing in the upside direction, which was very true for us today as we continue to traverse higher until we had some epic news, same shit. And we also hit a perfect level. And actually, whether you guys realize it or not, SPX actually made an all-time high by about 25 cents today, where ES came into our super significant level. So kind of cool how, it's typical stuff. They make new all-time highs, they sell back. It just so happened that it went perfectly coincide with some Iran news. And I swear to God, it never fails. I mean, you play a significant area, leg end as I call them. Just so happens there's a news bomb that sends the tape, crazy. And you're like, oh, look at that, we're jamming. And the same thing applied for this short today. Same thing. We basically just took profits right at the highs. I mean, literally at the highs. And then we had a tape bomb, which was pretty funny. So what's up, Mark? Pleasure to see you. Mark Manning in the house. I will respond to your comment later too when after I get done with the stream. So appreciate you guys joining in. Guys, let's just go ahead and kick it off as usual. Get this dog and pony show going, right? Make sure you follow me across all socials here, guys. Ryan Bailey Edge across YouTube, X, Substack, and TradingView. If you guys aren't following me across TradingView, you're sleeping. There's a lot of stuff there that you guys could grab. A lot of cool indicators are free. And look, guys, if you are a subscribing member and you have not given me your TradingView username, I suggest you do so. There's a couple indicators on there that I would love to add you for. Once you're subscribed to them, you just get them forever. But, you got to hit me up. I'll put you on the list. Send me a message from Substack, because it's easy for me to kind of see where your account's at in that case. So would love to give you guys, I have an 80% rule trade that's absolutely phenomenal. We continue to bang that trade off a couple times a week. So it's good stuff. So make sure you do that. Also, something else too I got coming up. Guys, starting next week on the 30th, I'm going to do a how to trade the trade plan webinar. So make sure that you sign up for this. The link is in the description below for both YouTube and Substack. I will go ahead and just throw it in here right now for everybody. And let's see. Boom. There we go. Make sure you sign up for that. It's free for everybody. You just come. It's going to be a Q&A. I'm going to go over everything with everyone, essentially the top down and the best way to effectively use the trade plan. And then, I'll take a Q&A session. So I think I'm going to do this once or twice a month. I think it'll be fun, help people, be able to understand the concepts and exactly what they're looking at a little bit better. It'll be a very valuable session, so make sure you don't miss it. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, 30 minutes, no more than an hour, in and out. So we'll figure that out when the time comes. So anyways, make sure you sign up for that. Also in there, I also have links for the trade companion. That is so that you can copy all the levels from the stream from the trade plan and the trading view, draws the levels for you. And of course, do not forget to sign up for the SPX brief that comes out every morning at about 6:40 or 5:40 in the morning. Sends you the news and all kinds of other good stuff. I'm actually going to do a video on that later as well in the week, just to kind of give people a top-down look and see how they can use it to their advantage. So first off, okay, now let's get into the goods, right? So let's talk about this. Look at this. Look at this shenanigans from yesterday. I tell you, ooh, these guys, these guys. So as you guys know, we were short the 64 yesterday, or at least I was, for 5.5 hours. 5.5. And they never gave me the dump I was looking for. And then, of course, lo and behold, this was the pop at the end of the day. And then in the overnight session, they came down and they basically paid something nasty, like 70 points. Came all the way down. I had targets all the way down into 7,100. So we would have gotten all this stuff filled yesterday. Kind of fun to see it happen. Wish I would have been in it, but it was, it's all really about the process, and that's kind of what I wanted to show you guys. Sometimes, the levels are solid. The plan is solid. Just doesn't always work when we want it to work. So, but, the key lesson here is that everything does come to fruition eventually. So we just stick to the plan. We keep riding it. And that was the case. So yesterday was awesome. What's up, Russell? It's good to see you, buddy. Glad you're here. So I just wanted to talk about this because this made me laugh. I got an alert on my phone, and I'm like, these sons of bitches. I just had to do it in the overnight session. That's okay. We got them good today. So that's fun stuff. And we're going to go ahead and get into that right now. So I actually have a few things to talk about here. So let's go ahead and talk about the sandwich pivot so that you guys understand what this means. This is the 7164 sandwich pivot. You guys know that was the big upside. We just talked about that level. Same exact level as right here. This obviously was important yesterday. It's still going to be important today. That was our big above below line. And we had the 7145 1 hour midpoint pivot. That was the only support that I had to buy today, guys. So we're going to talk about that as well because we all took this in the room this morning. They actually pulled back and hit it on news and gave us a retest into VWAP, which was pretty awesome. So last night we fell extremely hard in our 7105 area. As we sit and traverse the highs, basically we had to find ourselves directly in the back in the 4-day balance area as they sit and traverse the highs and accept more value. Like I said earlier, they push up, they accept value, they push up again. That is essentially how the ES moves. It has these exponential moves and then we move sideways for a while in balance. And they establish a value range, and then we push up from there. So that's clearly what's happening right now, or at least so it would seem. Rick Johnson's in the house, everybody. Welcome, Rick Johnson. Pleasure to see you. So the current market context, we had a 4-day balance and a sandwich pivot. And I'm going to show you guys what this means. 7114 and 7164. This was the leg end high for the 4 hour and the low for the 4 hour. We find ourselves in the middle of that 4-day balance directly where we left off yesterday before the fall. I mean, it was literally the same price this morning. We were right back at the 7164, which was pretty crazy. We pulled back a little bit before the open, but that's where we were at the time of writing. It made me laugh. So at the time of writing, we were directly at yesterday's close and the close above the 7164 4 hour. This will be our major above below pivot. And guys, it was again today, right? We knew that if we were going to pop this, we were going to go ahead and go to where? 81. And we're going to go ahead and talk about that right now. So here we go. We basically says that we continue to accumulate in a sideways fashion. We're still very much pointed to the upside, guys, very much. The simple fact that we continue to drop and pop, yet maintain the higher time frame outlook, leads me to believe that we could continue to move higher. Okay, the big line in the sand was 71.65, and a push above that takes us to 81 and potentially all-time highs. So just the final thought, just to show you guys, as we continue to bounce sideways, we're accepting value in this range. This is normally what price does after a big push up, right? We just talked about that. We push up, we move sideways, we accept value, we push up again. It's very similar to the action that we're seeing now. The simple fact is that we continue to drop and pop, we continue to move higher, right? So we talked about this. All right, so keep in mind, we had one area of support at 71.45, and after that, we could potentially rotate much lower. Well, I think we all know what happened today. If you guys were paying any attention today, we played that 71.45. We popped hella nice, and then, of course, as you know, we dumped. So once that level was wiped clean. So here is what the sandwich pivot was referring to, guys. 71.64, here was my leg in high. And then here was the 71.14. Here's the leg in low. And we were just contained inside this all day yesterday, all day, actually Tuesday, Wednesday, and now inside of Thursday. We even had Monday, same area here. And then, of course, even going back to Friday, which I don't really call that contained in here, but that is a massive 4-hour level that was right in between this area. So really, let's just call it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We've sat inside our big sandwich area as we've continued to struggle to move outside of this range. And it just so happens, guess what? That's where we're at right now. Even after today's movement, we're about right here. So we'll get into that. I just wanted to show you what this looked like here so that you guys understood exactly what I was meaning by this. So let's go ahead and take a look at this right here. Where do I want to start here? Actually, let's start with this. So I thought this was really interesting, guys. So check this out. So I had, actually, and I wasn't planning on doing this, but let me pull this up. Michael Atkinson. Michael's in the crib. What's up, Michael? How we doing? I want to show you guys this. So check this out. Hang on, let me find this. All right, so right here, guys, this is SPX, okay? SPX, right? So every morning, and you guys can sign up for this if you're interested, as you should be, because I'm only going to accept 500 people on this. Everyone who attends this stream and watches this stream should be all over this. Every morning, I publish yesterday's value area high, low, and point of control for both yesterday, previous day, right? The weekly, previous weekly, and the monthly, and the developing monthly, okay? Or the previous monthly and developing monthly. Lots of levels there. The only one that I'm really concerned about right here is this one right here. This is the one that I mark every single day. Yesterday, value area high, value area low, and point of control, okay? So going into the plan today, I say right here, this is an SPX chart. On the low side, yesterday's value area low at 71.17. And yesterday's point of control at 71.19 must hold if we're going to traverse higher. Look for these lower value areas to hold and then push over 71.22 and then, right, which is, well, I took it off the chart. It's right here, 71.22. And ultimately, the most important 4-hour at 71.28.89. That's the green one right here, right? If we push up, we have an untested 1 hour at 71.43. So here we are right here. So basically we held these, and look how many times they played this. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times, people. That is a hold and a half. And these levels were all derived from this SPX morning brief that I send you guys. It's all free. All you got to do is sign up for it. And I suggest that you do. This is great information. And this is what I use every single day. I just put it right on my chart here. And this is to show you the overlapping values and where we're at, et cetera, et cetera. You can look at all that stuff if you want. But ultimately, the most important part for me is the news, because I don't watch the news, so I like it. And I love to see where the value areas were at for the previous day. Jim O'Donnell's in the house, everybody. So I thought this was really, really important for you guys to show the use of the SPX Edge morning brief, how you guys can overlay this on your chart. You'll also notice the 71.28 here that we had as what we need to push above. This is also the yesterday's value area high. So we went from the value area low, held the point of control, all the way up to the value area high. And once we reclaimed it, we pushed all the way to all-time highs. And you can see they barely swept that all-time high, about a couple pennies. And then they just dumped on everybody. Typical, I swear, it's how they do it. Create new highs, pull it back. And it just so happened to happen. It happened around the news, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, all right. So now let's go ahead and get into the trade plan here as far as ES. So this is the 71.45. This was the midpoint pivot that we played right here, 71.45 ETH VWAP. So we talked about how we had ETH VWAP in yesterday's low. This was a big one for me. I was eyeing this whole area because we had no other support to play. I was obviously looking bullish, as I said many times in the title and the context and all that stuff. We're looking to get long, right? And so this is the only place that we had to get long unless we swept much, much lower. And at that point, if we start to break below yesterday's low, we lose the momentum to the upside, right? So for me, I'm looking for this area to hold. So this happened at news. This big long wick right here, they punched through all this. This was the news at, I think it was 8:30 or something like that. And so long story short, we waited for the retest. We came back down, they touched VWAP, and let's go ahead and take a look at what this plan actually says. This is our one level of support at a smaller time frame. Top down tested at 45. The actionable setup, look for 45 to play and get back above 71.49 to confirm buyers have stepped in before engaging. A successful reclaim could take us potentially higher back toward the sandwich pivot. Well, what was the sandwich pivot high, right? We talked about that. That was a 71.64. You can see my target was right here. The second target I had was all the way up here at yesterday's high. And of course, the third one, look where that's up, 71.81. Boy, I wonder why I had that, right? Fun stuff. We'll get there. But more importantly, what I want to show you guys is not about the targets, but it's about the execution, right? Because people are like, oh, these are great levels. They play good. How do I execute? Well, listen, I flat out tell you right here in the actionable setup, look what my entry is. 71.50.92, basically 71.51 is my entry, right? The reason it's kind of off like this because I added a couple times, but right here, I tell you, buy above 71.49, right? I'm in 2 points later than that. Actually, it's probably the average because I was in, basically right at 49, then I added again once I felt like it was going to go, and that worked. So I just want to show you guys exactly how these worked. All good, Jim. Glad you're here. All good, buddy. So let's go ahead and get into the next one here as we're going to kind of wind this down a little bit. So this was the other interesting spot, right? So as you guys can see, check this out. So we ended up coming up. We got my first target here, and they barely missed yesterday's high on me. Barely missed it. But what did they do? They pulled back, and they tested VWAP again. So at this point in time, we're on a stream in the room. I'm telling everybody, listen, I'm getting long again. We're buying VWAP, right? And so we're back above the open here. We're back above the 49. As you can see, my average at this point is not quite as sexy, but I got taken out break even on that pullback. It was more news flash. We popped up, pulled back, took me out. I get back in a little bit later at 54, took my first one at 64 for 10 points, then took this one up to 72 for about 18 points. Unfortunately, they knocked me out of my third contract, and I never put it back on to take me to 81. But we know that's where we ended up. I was a little salty. I didn't have it. I should have just went for it, and I didn't do it, but that's okay. 'Tis life, and life is good. So that was all from the plan. Just want to show you guys exactly how we're working these left and right, upside and down, okay? So absolutely beautiful. So check this out. Here's the next part. So 81. Let's talk about 81. So here we go. So that was the big push up into 81, or at least that's where it came from. So let's go ahead and just start with this right here. This is our upside reaction, 71.81 through 83. This is our very significant tested 4-hour. The 4-hour 81 is tested, but very significant, and this level could potentially provide a reaction. The actionable setup is look for, if price rejects, look for a move back to 65 for a continuation lower. Well, that is certainly exactly what happened on the first test here. We came right back to 65. And as you can see from this larger picture, they held for a while. They held for, about a half hour. And then, of course, we had this monster news, which ultimately sent us down well over 100 points. Just a phenomenal, phenomenal spot if you were long or short from 71.81. I'm not sure who was, but I tell you what, it was nice having the high in the plan because, as you guys know, that was our target. This was the all-time high, was this white line, and they never quite got it. So they did get it on the SPX, which was a great contextual play for us. We knew that SPX made an all-time high. We hit our big area of resistance. Okay, we should probably be, getting out and looking for the pullback to buy. Well, we never had that opportunity because 71.64 ended up falling on its face. And if you recall, I said we had 71.45, and other than that, we could come much lower. if what happens if we push below yesterday's low. Well, as you can see, we pushed well above yesterday's low, and we didn't stop here because everything was tested. We went all the way down into 70.80 today, which we're going to talk about right now, which was pretty interesting here because we have two ways that we could have played this for confluence and confirmation. Look at these double lows, 70.85. We talked about this yesterday. We talked about how, they held the low almost perfect. And so, we came up here and this, this was confirmation that we could potentially move higher, which we absolutely did as they walked up. Then we got smacked from 65 yesterday. Once again, pushed higher into the 81, came back down, swept both of these lows again, and popped back up for 70 points. Absolutely unbelievable sweep. I love this double sweep. That is my favorite. Not just one, but when you have a double like this and they're stacked and you can get back above that, that is like the sexiest sweep play ever. This was a monster short today. This wasn't in the bingo cards, but again, we are in an extremely headline-driven environment right now, which is extremely difficult to trade, to be quite frank, because you just never know what's going to happen. But one of the sexiest parts, and this was straight out of the trade plan for SPX, guys, this level at 70.46, this couldn't have been any more perfect. We played this to the tick on SPX. We swept this low over here, as you can see, and then they just rallied right back up. And they even closed the 4 hour above our major, or the 1 hour, above our major 1 hour at 70.87, which should have told you right there they could not lose support. Let's go ahead and push back higher, which they did ultimately push right back to the open and to yesterday's point of control as we continue to sit in this balanced area. So that really was the day, guys. It was pretty unbelievable. The plan led us straight. We had the 71.45 buy. We had the confirmation from SPX holding the value area low. And for all the people who are in the Discord can tell you, this is exactly how I was looking at it all day. So I'm telling everybody, hey, look, pay attention to SPX. Look how SPX is holding. Okay, we're holding 71.45. We're above VWAP. We're above our 49. Let's get long. Let's keep going. And it was all based on really it was based on the trade plan and, everything that we have to kind of bring into combination with us to help guide us. Okay. So one of the things that I actually forgot to share today, and I'll just go ahead and pull it up. Guys, this is kind of funny. And I didn't, let me see if I have it here. Hang on. Let me just pull it over. Check this out. Oh, let's see what we got. There we go. So check out VIX. The 1897 daily tiebreaker returns. I forgot to even talk about VIX. Look at this guy. This is us today. We gapped up, we sold off, we came down. And then, essentially the whole time we're long, I'm telling everybody, hey, watch this level as we come into the 1892. This could be very important. Well, they ended up bleeding through it quite a bit. They didn't make a new low. I thought they were going to, but they ended up holding this. And look at this ramp. They ramped this so hard back up through our $20 at 21.04. We even talked about this in here. This was actually in here perfectly, the headwind scenario. If we hold this, we could escalate into our massive weekly, which played the other day. It's very much tested. However, they did leave an untested daily at 21.04. Watch for a smack here. Now, again, I know we pushed through this quite substantially, but VIX is a wild animal. And, as soon as we pushed through this and you saw it start to come back, this was part of the trigger for the failed breakdown that we saw on that double sweep area that we were just speaking about. This was the setup for this to tell you, hey, listen, we've got VIX, smack the daily. We're coming down. It's under the weekly. Now we've swept. We played support on SPX, ES, etc., and we continue to move higher. So that's what I got for you guys. It was a great day in the trade plans. I did not trade the afternoon session. Unfortunately, I only traded the morning. I was able to put up about 60 points. I had some other guys in the room who did really well as we just sat in this slow motion grind all day to the highs. And that was it for our morning session. So if you were able to take advantage of the evening session, the afternoon sessions, congratulations. It was great stuff. There was a lot of good stuff there in the afternoon session, which is pretty nice. So that is one of the advantages of the news field, the headline-driven environment that we're in. So long story short, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Today is my Friday. There will be no post-market breakdown tomorrow. But you know what? I'm going to do something new. And actually, it's not something new. It's actually something that I used to do back in the day. I think I'm going to do it tomorrow. I think I'm going to do a free alpha Friday. That's essentially where I stream all day for free. All day from 9:30 to 12. If you guys are interested, please join me. I'm going to be streaming my charts just like I do for the Discord community, talk through some trades, show you guys what's up, and kind of go that route. So with that being said, I will leave you be. Make sure you sign up for the webinar and all that good stuff in the comments and in the post below. And I'll see you tomorrow morning for both on the live stream and for the trade plans. Have a great day, and let's conquer the markets. Cheers.